Thanks for joining us for today's episode of The Capitalist Investor. As always, you got Mark and Derek. D,
Mark,
what's up?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Good, man. Just another bumper-to-bumper day, but other than that,
I hear you.
All good. I'm excited about today's show, though. Very excited. It's kind of a fun show.
Dude, our first themed show.
It's about time,
Who
right?
wouldn't be excited for that?
It's about time. So, look, this show will be released somewhere around mid-October. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what better to talk about than Halloween?
Right.
Because Halloween's right around the corner. So our idea that we came up with, folks, for today's show is spooky stocks, right? Proceed with caution. So Halloween obviously is not the only thing giving thrills and chills right now. There are certainly pockets of stocks, sectors, industries that are kind of scary.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And when I say scary, the way we manage money, what I mean by that is there's more risk than reward. Mm-hmm. I'm not a hero. I don't try to hold myself out as a hero.
Right.
I'm never going to pick a loser stock at the exact bottom and then watch it skyrocket 300%. I'm just not that good.
Right.
Nor are you.
No.
So, and we got a robust team here at SWP, but they're not that good either, right? So we are not heroes. And I think that's what we're kind of talking about here is like, you have to be like all the stars and planets have to align perfectly for a lot of these plays to work out for you.
Yep.
There's just too much risk. Right?
Yep. And, I think, I was talking with Nate a little bit earlier today. So he's not listening, so I'll take credit for this. So, he said, when we're building out stock portfolios, we only have a finite amount of positions in there, right? So we're never going to be taking big gambles with stocks that are, fallen 50, 60, 70% since March. We're trying to get our best ideas in there.
Yep.
So, trying to hit those home runs in a recovering market isn't really something that fits in well with our client portfolios.
Yeah.
For me, personally, I have a small, allocation dedicated to stuff like that. But quite frankly, just like you said coming in here, my days are pretty much bumper to bumper too.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to get in there and day trade. I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find stocks that I can buy and hold for a long period of time.
Exactly.
So, some of these spooky stocks that we'll talk about here, probably aren't going to be, something I'm going to be trying to swing for the fences on.
No. And if you think about it, I mean, D, I play softball still. I'm old now, and I can't play hardball anymore, so I do softball. You golf. I'm getting back into golf now that my son's old enough and interested to go with me. And I've seen the big guys at softball try to hit a home run and pop up to the catcher. I've seen it happen.
Yep.
Right? I've seen guys on the tee box at the golf course try and swing as hard as they can and shank the ball out of bounds.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I've seen that a lot.
So the issue with home run stocks is they don't always go your way. Right? And in fact, and you can comment on this from a golf perspective, but I can tell you from a baseball perspective, from a softball perspective, and I've got suckered into coaching my son's team for like the last 3 straight years because there weren't enough head coaches. So I ended up coaching the teams, right? But what I have told all the kids, as I've kind of been teaching them, is you hit a home run on accident. Good hitters hit the ball. They strike the ball well, and home runs just happen on accident. When you try for a home run, you strike out.
Right.
Right? And you can probably say the same thing as it relates to golf.
Yeah, absolutely. When someone's learning how to play golf who never has played, I'm trying to teach them like a half swing, right? Because if they're pulling it all the way back and they don't know what they're doing, there's more stuff is going to go wrong in that motion that's going to go right. So let's worry about halfway back, halfway through, try to figure that out. And if you're swinging for the fences on the first tee box, probably just not going to go well for you.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about some of the macro risks that are out there.
Yep.
And then we'll pivot into talking about some of the sectors, industry stocks that we think are, quote unquote spooky.
Right.
Stocks that you probably just want to avoid. So first things first, stimulus or no stimulus, right? We have no idea where we're at with that. Democrats want 2.2 to 2.4 trillion. Republicans want about half that. It seems like Republicans cannot stomach anything above 1.5 trillion, and that would be on the high end. President Trump called off stimulus talks and then, kind of pedaled the other way and said, well, we're just going to kind of be selective and, we're just going to give money to these specific groups. So we don't know what's going to happen with stimulus. So that's a question mark. Obviously, President Trump was diagnosed with COVID-19. Mm-hmm. He's out of the hospital. I don't know if he's COVID-free. I guess I just saw something that he's got the antibodies. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that means that he is COVID-free and he's healing. I have no idea. Presidential election is just a few weeks away, not even a month away, mm-hmm. right? We talked about the debate debacle, right? We'll see what happens the rest of the way. We'll see if there are debates. So last I heard, Biden was trying to back out of the next debate,
right?
If Trump has got COVID. There's COVID flare-ups in our country and overseas. So, look, the market is facing a lot of uncertainty, mm-hmm. right? And as it relates to COVID, I think it is flu-like in this regard. And I don't mean the symptoms. I'm not comparing COVID to flu symptoms. But I think it's flu-like in that it is going to be here forever. Mm-hmm. For at least a long, long, long period of time, right? So, even with vaccines, the disease is going to continue to mutate, right? And just like I just got a flu shot yesterday. I haven't gotten a flu shot in probably 10 years. But if I get sick, I'd at least rather be able to rule out the flu and know that it's more likely COVID, right? Mm-hmm. But you need to get a different flu shot every single year because it continues to mutate, right? I think the same thing happens here. So it's all about really making sure you have effective treatment for it, right?
Yeah, I was literally thinking about the same exact thing walking in here. I seem to get really sick with the flu like every third year.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so, I just won't get sick. Third year rolls around, and I'm down for like 48 hours, with a bad flu. Actually happened this year at the end of February, so I'm not sure if that was the COVID or not. We've talked about that before. But you're absolutely right, and that's kind of the basis for a lot of these topics here today. It's just not going to go away overnight. It's clear that no one really has a good, in general, the American public has a very poor grasp on what a vaccine actually does. How fast it can get to market, how fast it can be effective for the population. Yeah. So these things that we're talking about today, it's not there's not a cure coming out tomorrow that's just going to magically fix everything and take us back to, the beginning of 2019.
Right. No, things are going to change for an extended period of time, if not forever. Yep. Right. Treatment to me is more important than a vaccine. We saw that with HIV years ago. Mm-hmm. HIV used to be a death sentence. Now you get it, you take a pill a day, you live forever. Right. So obviously treatment is really, in my opinion, the bigger savior, right, as opposed to a vaccine. All right, so let's get into areas that we think are dangerous or spooky. So D, first is the entertainment industry. Mm-hmm. Right, so you look at like movie theaters. Are movie theaters even open around us?
No, I don't think so.
A lot of the movie theaters recently around us, and I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but they've switched to more of like I'm going to serve you dinner in the movie theater. Mm-hmm. Like you get a big lounge chair. So they are a little more cram people in like they used to in the old school theaters.
Yep.
But
We got one of those by us. It was really nice when I went to it
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know if they're open. And then we just heard, Regal?
Mm-hmm.
They're done. They're permanently closing.
Yep.
So, look, D, you know this, and I know this. More and more movies are going straight to streaming.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that with like Disney, right? Mulan. I think they just went straight to streaming with that, and I don't know if they charged $30 or $40 for it.
Right.
But they're getting their money that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Disney has its own set of problems that we'll get to. But you're seeing stuff go straight to streaming. I do think at some point people are going to want to go back to the theaters for the experience. Do you think streaming is it forever? People are never going to leave their house.
It's interesting. We talked about this with the kind of the home improvement stuff.
Yeah.
Someone like me and we're fortunate. We have really cool home theaters.
Yeah.
That's really the only way to say. I've been. It's funny, like my basement. If you come over, it's like my 12-year-old self designed it. Right. So, but I have the surround sound. I have the Blu-ray or the 1080p.
Yep.
It's really all I need. Now the movie popcorn is definitely better than the one that you can get at home.
Yes.
But it's me personally. I'm not really looking for that experience. However, I'm old.
Right.
They're
and your kids are young.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, when your kids are 7, 8 years old, that's an experience that I enjoyed having with my kids.
Absolutely.
Right. I enjoyed having that experience with my parents back in the day. Right. That was a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to watch The Karate Kid and really awesome classic movies like that, which, by the way, have you watched Cobra Guy?
I have actually not watched that.
It is terrible, but it's great. It is terrible, but great.
I've heard mixed reviews on it.
You can't stop watching it.
When it first came out, everyone said, you got to watch this. And then it's kind of the reviews have kind of trailed off.
Daniel-san sucks. I hate him. Johnny really won that fight.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that was an illegal kick to the face.
It was, yeah. I guess
Johnny punched him in the face, and then they took a point away from Johnny, and then Daniel kicks him in the face, and he wins.
it's poor writing is what it comes down to.
It's terrible. Johnny was way cooler anyways.
He was. That Halloween costume?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. So the ways to play this, we talked about kind of the things to avoid, right? What do you think, Apple and Netflix? Like, how do you play this?
Yeah, talking with people about this show, it's not the whole, sectors aren't all dead. It's just different ways to play them.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, AMC stock, that's been a problem for a while, and it's only going to get worse, and
Yep.
I don't see it getting better anytime soon. But that doesn't mean people still don't want entertainment. They most definitely do. So
They'll go to Best Buy and they'll buy a bigger TV.
yeah,
They'll create their own mini home theater, right? It might not be a blowout, but maybe they go and they upgrade their 50-inch TV to a 70.
right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's ways to play this. It's just the game has changed, right?
Yep. So Costco, right? I've always loved Costco, personally and from the stock perspective, but Costco has everything that you need for that movie going experience. So I like them too. And then all the streaming services, obviously. Amazon is a great stock because it has its fingers in so many different things.
Yep.
So they have the streaming service. Netflix, Disney Plus is just an amazing service. You mentioned Mulan. I personally have watched Frozen 2 about 15 times now.
Oh, no.
So yeah, absolutely those streaming services, because people are the demand isn't being lost. There's still a need and a demand out there for those entertainment services. Like Disney's not going to shut down production of these things.
Right.
They're going to do what they need to do to get them produced. So it's really the change in how people seek entertainment.
Yep. All right. So avoid the movie theaters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way to play it would be to play it just through alternative methods, right? On to travel and tourism.
Yep.
That's going to be banged up for a long time, right? I mean, the hotels, not good, right? I'm not going to invest 100% of my money into a hotel stock, right? No way. Airlines, not good. People are not flying, especially if COVID flares back up, right? Cruise lines look awful. And then I'm going to throw Disney in there. So Disney, as far as Disney Plus is concerned, I think is a good play. But most of their business still comes from the amusement parks, you know? So, and they just laid off, like, I don't even know the number, but
I think it was
ton.
20,000, I believe,
Yeah.
in California.
Yeah, because those theme parks are just either operating at minimal capacity or I don't know where they're at, but that's a dangerous play.
That was the gist of the story, I believe. Disneyland in California, you know, basically the restrictions were so tight, they couldn't really even open up.
Well, that's Gavin Newsom. I mean, he's probably the worst governor ever.
He really is bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, Florida is open for sure. Definitely a reduced capacity.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was all related to California parks.
Yeah, it stinks. So what about travel and tourism? I mean, we talked about kind of the spooky things you need to avoid, right? The hotels, airlines, cruise lines, the Disneys, Cedar Fair, right? Which is our local Cedar Point amusement park, right? What do you think the alternative is here? Is it Home Depot and Lowe's because you're making over your house, right, to create your staycation? Like, what's the alternative to these stocks? If money doesn't go towards these kind of companies, where do those same dollars go?
Yeah, you nailed it again, honestly. I would give anything to be on a cruise right now.
Seriously?
I really would. But at the end of the day, I'm years away from getting on a cruise boat.
And I will not be quarantined in the middle of the ocean
That's my
for a
number
month.
one concern. If I was on
Those
that
rooms
boat,
suck.
oh gosh,
They're terrible.
I would have jumped off the window.
Yeah.
Right off the balcony.
I'll go join Leonardo and we'll figure out how to stay warm and swim. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm jumping out.
There was
window.
plenty of room for Leo on that door, by the way.
Right.
More poor writing.
Poor guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he just sunk. Not good. Not good.
So
That water was cold.
So yeah, you know, when you first said these, you know, the trying to catch the swing, right? So we'd talk about Davey Day Trader again. You know, that guy's hilarious, really fun to listen to.
Yep.
But I'm just not going to get into the game of trying to capture the savior bounce, right? So airlines are about to go out of business. Oh, they got bailed out. Boom, they're up 30%, right?
Yep.
Then they trickle back down, and then boom, some sort of stimulus package. It's just not a game I'm going to get into.
I don't have the stomach for that.
Yeah.
That's tough, right?
It's just it's nearly impossible to predict. You know, you just don't know what's going to happen. It's a guessing game, really. And when like I said, I'm trying to find good long-term plays, and when you talk about spooky stocks, I'm going to have to put those airlines, hotels, and cruise stocks right in the middle there.
Yep.
And I think it's perfect. That's when people aren't taking trips, they're improving their home. I've talked to a dozen clients that are doing that right now.
Yeah. We just installed infrared heaters on our patio. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
That's awesome.
It was so hot watching the Browns game over the weekend.
You had to watch it in short and
I felt
t-shirt.
like it was 120 degrees on my patio. I had to shut two of them off. So
Are those like the big tall things that are?
well, they have to be probably about 4 to 5 feet long, and I had a contractor come over and install them into the roof of the patio.
So it's like the Top Golf.
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
Dude, what a good investment.
Nice.
Because we talked about this on a prior show. If you have never watched a football game outside, you are missing out. You need to go and I'm not talking about at the game. Like, you need to have a TV outside. That is the way to live, right? 60 degrees, 50 degrees. You got to wear a hoodie. Maybe you got a fire going. You got to figure out how to watch football games outside.
No doubt.
There's really just no better experience in life.
Yep.
Right? All right, let's move on. I got two more things I want to talk about: brick and mortar retail and office space.
Yep.
So brick and mortar retail, you look at the Kohl's of the world, you look at the Macy's of the world. I just don't think they ever come back. Right? There might be some traders who think that they can make a quick buck. Maybe Davey Day Trader thinks he can. But that's like playing with fire in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. They've been on a decline anyway.
Yep.
This is only going to make it worse.
Exactly. And really the trend was direct to consumer. So, I mean, look at what a company like Nike has done. I mean, literally, I could open up my app right now and find stuff within 2 minutes and Apple Pay it, right? Very, very easy. If I were to open up Instagram, I don't know how this happens, but Nike would push an ad to me that knows the exact shoe I want to buy.
Yep.
Are they spying on us?
They're 100% spying on you.
How do I shut my microphone off so they can't listen to me?
I don't think you can. At this point, you just got to let it happen.
Jeez, oh man, it's
But
terrible.
yeah, I've had 10 instances where I'm just talking about something, and then magically it pops up on Instagram or Twitter.
Scary.
Yeah, it's
Big
messed
brother.
up.
Big brother's watching. All right, so brick and mortar retail, a lot of problems there. Moving on to Office Space, and we're not talking about the movie. It is one of the best movies
It's a
ever.
good one. Yep.
One of the best ever. We're talking about commercial office space, like the office that we're in right now, right? There are REITs out there. There are private investments, private companies that own, 6-story buildings. You get a group of 15 investors together and you spend a few $1,000,000 on a building, right? Office space seems to be doomed for the foreseeable future.
Right.
So I heard this discussion recently, and it was about work from home, right? Do you think people are as productive working from home, first of all? Let's start there.
I do not.
Okay. Why?
We've talked about this a little bit before. I think it can be a good tool for your employees to have a little bit of freedom. There's an efficiency about it. You don't have to drive to and from work. But after a while of being by yourself and, not really being accountable to anyone unless you get a Zoom call, it's just natural human tendency to the production just kind of dips down.
You have to be quite the introvert to love working from home by yourself.
Yep.
Like you don't value personal interaction at all. In
Right.
fact, maybe you're afraid of it, right? I mean, for an extrovert to be stuck at home by him or herself, like that would just drive you crazy.
Yep.
Right? So I agree. I don't think you're as productive. And Chris and I were talking about this. I think there's probably at a certain level, like a management level, a big producer level, it might be a little different. I still don't think I'm as productive at home. It is nice to work from home every now and then because I'm distraction free.
Right.
Right? I don't have other coworkers coming to talk to me, Doug in particular. Mister,
Doug's not listening, don't worry.
Doug's not listening. I make my coffee round every morning to let you know I'm here. Hang out in your doorway for 10 minutes. Talk about nothing work related at all.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
He's right next to me now.
Well, thank God Doug's not listening right now. That was fun. All right, so I don't think you're necessarily as productive working from home. I think if you're on a managerial kind of level, you're a little more productive. If you're a rank and file employee, there's just no way.
No way at all.
No way. Managerial, I think you can get close to 100%, but you're still not going to get there. You need to be in the office. All right. So my next question to you is work from home here to stay? What do you think about that?
I do not think it's definitely going to be here for a while. No question about it, especially the large companies. They just they're going to err on the side of caution when it comes to this thing.
Yep.
The big players around town in Cleveland, like Progressive, who knows when they're all going back. But management typically does not like to lose control, in my opinion. And when you have, 100 employees all working from home, that's what has happened. You've kind of lost control.
Yep.
And so no, I don't think it's going to be here to stay. Is obviously going to be here until this COVID is under control. But long term, I think people are still going to work in an office.
I think so too, but I think it's here to stay to an extent. And what I mean by that is I think most people will eventually get back into the office, but maybe rather than a 5-day in-office work week, it's a 3 or a 4-day.
Yep.
And they do have the ability to work from home 1 to 2 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably where it's here to stay. And if that's the case, you don't need as much office space.
Yep.
By any means. Now, you know what's interesting, and then we'll wrap up from here and we'll talk swag, because that's what everyone wants to talk about anyways. What is really, really no, let's just talk about swag. We're just going to get straight to the swag, because we've got a lot of reviews over the course of the last couple of weeks. So thank you for giving us those awesome 5-star reviews. The swag has been purchased. It is on its way. So we got some pretty cool performance T-shirts.
Yep.
With our awesome logo on it.
Yeah, if you're watching on the Facebook or on the YouTube, you can see the new logo behind us.
Kudos to Chris Inman for designing it, giving us a little bit of a flag feel.
Yep. Thank you, Chris.
Patriotic as we are.
Actually, it was a whole collaborative effort, apparently. Turned into a whole thing around the office.
That was a big project, right? Had to make sure these T-shirts looked legit. All right, so we have those. We have them in both male and female sizes. I shouldn't say we have them. We've ordered them.
Yep.
So I'm assuming there's going to be at least maybe a 4-week turnaround. Turnarounds seem much slower with COVID.
Yep.
So we'll see. And we also have the Yeti mugs. They're not Yeti mugs, but they look just like them, and I'm sure they're just as good. But they don't carry the Yeti name and the Yeti price tag. We saved half of the money. But we have those coming as well. And we had a couple people reach out today. They wrote us nice reviews, and all we need is your shirt size and your address, and we'll shoot that stuff out to you.
Ryan S., thanks. And it was Nate something.
Nate L.
Nate L., that's right.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you for the nice reviews. And I know there's other people that wrote reviews as well who haven't reached out. Reach out. Don't feel bad. Let us send you a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. I'm very proud of these T-shirts. I like
it's a big life accomplishment.
I like the
us.
material you picked. Mm-hmm. These are good shirts.
Yep.
Right? Wear them in the gym if you're ever allowed to go back to the gym.
Yeah.
Wear them cutting the grass if that's your thing. I'll never cut my grass again.
No.
Not interested. Do whatever you'd like. But these are nice shirts. All you have to do is email info@swpconnect.com. That's info@swpconnect.com. And let us know you wrote that review, and we'll get you out your swag.
And thanks for the nice reviews, because it's clear that people are listening.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we appreciate that.
Not only are they listening, but they appreciate the show enough that they took the time out of their day to write the review.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it's easy to go and click the 5-star. That's easy.
Yep.
But to click the 5-star and then write a 3 to 4 sentence review, I really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. D, anything else we want to talk about here?
No, I'll drop the energy sector on the way out.
Oh, God. That's banged up, man.
Yeah. Exxon is going to be a spooky stock that I'm not going to touch probably for a long time, or if ever again.
So, I mean, what happens there? Like, there's companies like First Solar. I mean, do those companies rise at the expense of the big oil conglomerates? I mean, what happens in the energy sector? Because you need energy. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of people don't understand is that even if everyone in the world is driving a Tesla in 5 or 10 years, you can't power all that stuff without fossil fuels anyways, right? So
just a real quick stat for you. Back in, let's see, 2006, energy was basically 10% right before the crash here. In 2007, 2008.
10% market cap?
Of the S&P 500.
Yep.
And now it is roughly 2%.
And when I brought this up about 9 months ago, it was 4%.
Yep.
So that just shows you how bad it really is. It just continues to deteriorate. But yeah, that's something where unless you're comfortable pocketing the yield, you can't expect much out of that sector.
Yep.
Right? Even with like MLPs, high yielding stuff that's not supposed to tie closely to the price of the commodity, which is oil. But we've been lied to. We've been lied to for years because they do exactly what energy stocks do. They just happen to pay a higher dividend.
Exactly.
That's it. All right, my man. Good stuff today. To all of our listeners, thank you so much for joining us, as always. Hopefully next week is as fun as this week. This was a fun episode.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. So, as always, shoot us your comments, your reviews, questions, whatever it might be, info@swpconnect.com. Check out the show notes right on the website. Check out the YouTube channel so you can see my awesome jacket I'm wearing today. And you can see our awesome logo that Chris Inman made for us behind our head. If you own a business and you want some good audio, visual, or graphic stuff done, Chris is your dude. That's your man. That's a shout out to my boy Chris.
Absolutely.
He's producing this for us right now. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time.